TV. This program is brought to you by Rogers Xfinity, connecting you to more of what you love. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Living Well, Giving Well on Rogers TV, Grey County. I'm Fred Wallace, along with my co-host Denise Reid, and this is episode number 25. Our host charity today is Community Foundation Grey Bruce, and we'll be talking with Stuart Reid at length today. Stuart is the Executive Director of Community Foundation Grey Bruce. But before we do, we have to talk about living well, giving well, and looking at your 10. Obviously, you've been living well. Where have you been?
I'm back. My husband and I were fortunate to be in Curacao, which people say, where is that? Well, a small island just north of Venezuela. And it was beautifully warm and very relaxing, golfed a lot. So then I came back to Snowmageddon, right?
Welcome back to Grey County. That's the living well part of living well, giving well. Let's talk about living well, giving well and the concept. And maybe for today, we'll throw it to our guest, Stuart Reid, because Stuart was one of the driving forces behind our television. So maybe you can explain the concept to our viewers, Stuart, and why we have this television program.
Well, it's an exciting concept. We're really talking to people in our region and Canadians about what they can do when they're planning for end of life and they're planning their estate, about urging them to consider giving a gift to charity in their will, and that's a very compelling thing. We all benefit when people make those generous gestures, and so this series has been come about through a collaboration from local charities in Grey Bruce that are all part of the Willpower initiative that's run through the Canadian Association of Gift Planners, and we're just fostering conversation, getting people to think about, and sometimes it's a difficult topic, you know, the end of life planning and you know, what's going to happen when you're gone, but we're trying to normalize it and to you know, make it a very positive thing and get people thinking about what they can do to better their community. You know, the place where we live is where we earn our wealth, where we build our social framework and all the things that support us in our life. And it makes a lot of sense to me that we talk to people about how they can give back and further that, and maybe leave a little legacy with their name on it while they're doing it too. So thank you both for being such gracious hosts through this whole journey.
Well, it's been a learning experience. I know I've had to go back and watch some of the episodes because I actually don't think I picked up everything that I needed to. But you know, we've talked about the living well and giving well, and you know, not only donations to charities but volunteering in our community, and that's a win-win situation when we volunteer. And we've talked about it, and I think, I don't know, was it the second, third episode we did? We had one of the people that have a fund with you, that she started as a volunteer.
Yep.
And went, wow, maybe this is what I want to give to, where I want to put money towards, and establish that in her will. And I think we talk about, dying, I'm not going to talk, I'm not going to face that. But we've learned it's a gift that you give to your family for having things planned out.
Mm-hmm. That's really true, peace of mind.
Yeah. Willpower, you mentioned willpower. Can we talk about willpower.ca and the great advice and the great steps that they can help you lead in this process?
Yeah, and we're just entering year number 3, the Community Foundation being a subscriber, and each year the roster of resources that are available to people making those doing that planning and making decisions is growing. And so I urge people to visit willpower.ca. When you get there, there's an option to search for charities, and you can just put in Grey Bruce, and then all of the local subscribers, all the charities that are active come up, and there's things on there like a gift calculator. You can plug in the amount you're considering giving and what it is. Maybe it's a RIF or a life insurance, and it'll calculate the local tax laws and show the benefit. So there's some wonderful tools, and there's videos and all sorts of information on the great work that charities are doing, so you can do a little shopping of sorts to make your decisions.
Yeah, I think, I mean, we all think, we don't have we can't give. We don't have that much to give. It doesn't have to be a lot. It can be a little over a longer period of time or whatever. And we're talking today, I think, hopefully you're going to bring, talking about students with scholarships.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know that post-education is extremely expensive and for kids. And so you tell us what what does the foundation offer as far as scholarships are concerned?
Well, we offer the ability to start a scholarship fund, and it can be now, or it could be a gift in your estate or a gift in your will. And we set up these funds, and then they're endowed, and then each year the endowed money generates a resource that we turn into a scholarship, bursary, and award. And the foundation provides a full granting service by an online application process from local students, and we make a match between your fund and the student that has applied. And we get a report back from the student and share that with the donor. So right now the foundation manages over $2.5 million in endowed education funds.
All right, I didn't realize it was that high.
Yeah.
I know this is probably a fastball at you, Stuart, but how many specific scholarship funds are under the umbrella of the Community Foundation?
So I did a count before I came today. So we're up to about 48. And some of those are sizable. There's some that support students studying medicine, and so it can be a small end to be maybe about $500. Some are generating up to $5,000 a year to support a student on their education pathway. So quite a diversity of funds. We have things to support women entering the trades. We have things that support medicine and community health, like I mentioned. We have arts supporting scholarships, so students that are studying the visual arts or performing arts. We have one named after Darlene Van Wyck, who was such an important force here at Rogers,
yes.
And that supports any student from our region entering media studies or communications in Darlene's memory. And she was such a caring presence at community events and here at the studio. So a wonderful tribute that our friends came together to make to keep her name going, to remember Darlene and the great work she did investing in community, and then rewarding a student every year. So it's a wonderful mechanism, I think, that I wanted to come and talk about today.
Yeah, so how do students, or probably maybe parents, that are looking and saying, okay, we need to see where we can get some funds, and how do they go? Do they just go on the website and under who?
They do, and over the years we've established a searchable database on our website, and we call it Pay for School Grey Bruce.
Okay.
And so you can go to the website and look for it. It's in the search bar, or go to For Students and it'll pop up on the left bar. And that gives you access to all those 48 that we manage, but we've also loaded in links to scholarships right across the region.
Oh, okay.
So the last estimate, I think it was almost $700,000 available to students regionally every year. And so there's scholarships there from the different school boards and Bruce Power. There's some links for Indigenous students to particular things that support their course of study. So there's over 120 on that list that is searchable. So when you plug in your location and your name and stuff and your course of study, it'll sift for you all the ones that you would be eligible for. Okay. So that's a great resource. Yeah. And we really urge families to kind of take advantage of that.
Why not?
Why not? It's like money, and it's there but you have to apply. Yeah. You have to step forward and tell us who you are and what you're hoping to do, and meet the eligibility, and then send in the application, and then we get the match happening.
Who decides on that then? Who decides at the foundation who okay, we have that and we're going to give that, or everybody that applies gets the scholarship?
Well, often, we usually have a lot of money to give away, and we make matches for students. We always employ people with expertise from the community. So we have a couple of former educators, a couple of former principals from regional schools that help us out with the adjudication of those incoming scholarships every year. So we always try and do that. We try and engage community and local knowledge to make decisions with that respect on, and then our board, of course, ratifies all those before we pass the money out.
Denise asked about parents, and they would probably probably be the driving force because
Yeah.
having probably pocketed for a couple of youngsters and their school days, it's not inexpensive. Where do they go, Stuart, to see the various funds that are available? Because some of your funds, as you mentioned, would be quite specific, be it for medicine, be it for engineering, whatever the case happens to be.
So the website is the go-to. So communityfoundationgraybruce.ca. Is it CA or .com? Oh my goodness, I think it's .com. And then the Pay for School is a great resource, but there's right across the navigation bar. If you hit for students, you can go down and read about all the scholarships we're administering just to see what's available.
So if I wanted to start a fund.
A search, oh, yes.
Let's say I want to start a fund.
Yes.
The Denise Reid Fund.
The
Yes.
Denise Reid Scholarship Fund will, maybe better put that under my husband, Brian Reid. If we put that, do I phone you?
Sure.
Phone and then just talk to you about that, and we can sit down and have a discussion and go from there. I know that, I mean, my children are older now, but when we were going through the process, it was very overwhelming. And I think sometimes that's why people maybe don't go there, because it is overwhelming what they need and what they require. But if you have the time or the go, because you need the money, it's there. Hopefully it's in the last 15 years, maybe it's gotten a little easier to do that.
I think it's easier, and we're always working to improve the system so that it's not onerous for a student to make the application. But we're doing our due diligence, so we need to hear their story and see their transcripts and their course of studies set out, their admission papers and that sort of thing. So there's different types of funds that are available too. So scholarships, bursaries, and awards.
That's
right?
what I was going to ask. What's the difference?
So
What's the
scholarships
difference there?
are often a reward for academic achievement. So sometimes you might be asked about your grade point or whatever, or a recommendation from the school. And bursaries are that support students with demonstrated financial need. So in the application, if you're after a bursary, you may have to describe in your own words what's precipitating you asking for this support.
Okay.
And awards are sometimes appointed by another body, or they're like a prize of sorts that might be engaged through a school, and again might relate to academic achievement or some other, or maybe a sports thing. We also have sports-related, recreation-related scholarships and education support too.
So somebody could actually get a scholarship, a bursary, and an award.
You could.
Yeah,
I mean, you really could, if that, whatever. Interesting, because I mean, we all know with the rising costs of everything, how much education costs for whether you're going into the trades, whether you're going to university, college, wherever it is. And I was glad to hear when you said there is for trades.
Yeah.
So that, specific to that. So if you can go on and look that up and find that.
Yeah.
And a lot of women, I know one of the girls, and I don't know if she even watches, but I taught her skating years ago. She's a mechanic at one of the car dealerships. And I'm always amazed at that, because sometimes stereotypically you put male, female, whatever. So it's nice that you can have that opportunity to do that.
This is Living Well, Giving Well on Rogers TV, Grey County. I'm Fred Wallace, along with Denise Reid. Our guest today is Stuart Reid, who's the Executive Director of the Community Foundation Grey Bruce. We'll talk a little bit more about scholarships that are available for students in Grey and Bruce when we come back, but we're going to take a bit of a break here now and see one of our featured partner videos. And coming up, stay with us as we watch for Habitat for Humanity on Living Well, Giving Well on Rogers.
Hi, I'm Lisa Campbell, and I work with Habitat for Humanity Grey Bruce as their partnerships manager. Habitat for Humanity Grey Bruce is a nonprofit home builder dedicated to serving communities within Grey and Bruce counties with an affordable homeownership model. Qualifying families purchase Habitat homes with zero money down, interest-free mortgages held by Habitat Grey Bruce. We also own and operate 3 retail Restore locations in Owen Sound, Port Elgin, and Hanover that sell new and gently used building materials, appliances, and so much more to support our cause. Habitat Grey Bruce offers a rare opportunity to actively participate in reconciliation with First Nation people of the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation. This model of hope engages, educates, and empowers participants while building relationships through learning, experiencing, and working together. It's no secret we are experiencing a global housing crisis. In Grey and Bruce, 1 in 4 houses are unaffordable. 1 in 7 residents live with low incomes, and over 1/3 have lost hope of ever owning a home. Together, we can offer a solution. Habitat for Humanity has incredibly unique funding models. 100% of all donations received go directly into building affordable housing. Your donation doesn't just build houses. It strengthens the very fabric of our community, changing lives in Grey and Bruce for generations to come. Your support, be it a one-time gift, a monthly pledge, or a legacy in your will, lays the foundation of hope for countless families. It's more than a donation. It's a commitment to a future where everyone has a decent place to live and call home.
Welcome back to Living Well, Giving Well on Rogers Television. I'm Fred Wallace along with Denise Reid. Our guest today is Stuart Reid, Executive Director of Community Foundation Grey Bruce. I got tied up thinking about our video for Habitat for Humanity. My understanding is that in the region there are 70 different families in our broadcast region that have benefited and are thriving through Habitat for Humanity. And there are various ways that you can support them. You can make obviously a financial donation, but as you saw in the video, you could also be involved in one of the builds. And one other way that you can support Habitat for Humanity is through the Restore. There are restores in Owen Sound, in Port Elgin, and in Hanover, and you can take used or gently used materials, donate it there, and they can find a nice place for it in one of the Habitat for Humanity homes. So there's many, many ways, and I encourage you to visit their website, habitatgraybruce.ca. Back to Stuart Reid and Denise Reid. We got the Reids today on Living Well, Giving Well.
No relationship that I know of.
In the greater scheme of things.
There you go. Well, so we're talking about students and scholarships, and I know there's lots of local, but is there any that you would like to talk about? Why I'm asking is Sharif Rahman.
Yes.
If you could elaborate on that.
Well, of course, when Sharif was killed in 2023, the community came together, and there was an anonymous donor who stepped forward and established a scholarship in his name that is supporting students from our region that identify as newcomers as new Canadians. And this year was the first year we awarded a scholarship, and it was a really wonderful story. The young man's name was Sean. I want to make sure I say it right. Sean Van Day, and studying engineering down at the University of Waterloo, and just so grateful for that support, but also for the story that was offered to him. You know, fulfilling, Sharif's life was cut short, but the scholarship continues to reward young people and continues on his name and his memory. And I love that example. I mean, it's such a good story about the way that we can memorialize and remember and embed our community stories into this scholarship practice, which is so generous. Supporting young people, that kind of hope and encouragement is such a beautiful thing that our community does for young people. So Sean's story is wonderful, and I'm sure it brings a great deal of comfort to Sharif's family to think about his name carrying on good work, and he was so community minded and such a friend to many. I'm sure he'd be very pleased with what it does too. So that's just one aspect, but any family can, we talked about the Denise Reid Prize. You can award something that's near and dear to you. Some people have lost a family member who was a nurse, and they want to support nursing students, or engineering, or a teacher, or visual arts, as I mentioned before. So you can really design it to be something that the family can be really proud of. And it's also, we try and engage intergenerational conversations around these funds too. So you're engaging your whole family in that philanthropic gesture, and they can be informed and hear the stories about what that fund is doing in perpetuity. And it's a great way to foster a dialogue and keep doing good work long into the future.
Legacy, right?
Yeah,
Like what a great legacy that is to continue on, and as our children grow up to see that being still touching people in the community.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's I mean, we've talked about legacies and wills, and I mean,
it's just such a nice story that was such a horrific incident, and good has come out of it because of the goodness of the people in our neighborhood. I also wanted to ask about our neighborhood, that it's quite populated with Indigenous people at Cape Croker, in the Wyerton area, and certainly at Saugeen Reserve. You've got specific funds for Native Canadian students.
We do, quite a number of those, and we had a fund that was established many years ago called the First Nations Peoples Scholarship Fund, and that was disbanded around 2016, and then the money was offered to the local bands to do what they'd like with it, and a number of them established scholarship funds with the foundation that keep giving back to support young people from those bands and in their course of study. So we have funds for Saugeen First Nation, Chippewas of Nawash or Niashiniming. We also have branches up on Manitoulin Island at Chageen, Chagwenda, Wikwemikong has a fund. So it's a really interesting part of what we do, and working alongside our Indigenous nations, we're able to support and utilize the foundation's mechanism to help them support young people onto through their education pathways. It's also, you know, in these times when we're all considering our journey towards reconciliation, a lot of people think about donating to those funds to kind of right past wrongs and make amends, and so it's a wonderful story as well about some of the things that are supported by those funds managed.
so once again, though, it's responsibility, though, for the individuals to apply. They have to apply, because so many funds sit there unused. I think there's millions of dollars, I think, in scholarship funding that just never gets used. It sits there. But hoping...
I can tell by your face that it's a frustration and something that you want to overcome.
We do. We're trying different ways of getting the word out. You know, we've done bookmarks that we leave in the local libraries, and every spring people should watch our website, but we offer an online Q&A with families, with parents and students, about how to apply and trying to help people get over that hurdle of you know, doing the work to access the money. We want to get the word out. These are wonderful resources, and you know, it's not that we're leaving money on the table, because we're trying to expend every year what we have available, but we really want to make sure students reach out and take advantage of these great funds that are available.
Yeah. So I was just, and I have to look at my notes for this. I was saying, it was a few years ago, Governor General David Johnson came to Owen Sound to talk about education funding, and I'd like to see if you could give us a little more information on that. So
when he was the Governor General of Canada, he issued a challenge to community foundations across the country. He was sort of a patron that was engaged with community foundations through the REDO Fund, which is through the Governor General's office. And the challenge was to make Canada a more smart and caring nation. So that's a general kind of throwing down the gauntlet. So our foundation aimed to raise another $1 million in endowed education funds to support local students. And so over a couple of years we did that. And when we achieved our goal, David Johnson came to Owen Sound, and he had lunch at Harmony Center and talked a little bit about you know, what a great thing we'd done. And he talked very eloquently about his commitment to young people, and particularly Indigenous students as well, and celebrated that, you know, we'd kind of fulfilled our goal. Yes. And then since 2016, you know, the funds have grown, and as I mentioned at the start, we're up over 2.5 million, so we've added another $500,000 to that 1.8 that was celebrated in 2016. So, you know, it's a growing thing, and the model of the foundation is a wonderful thing too, because we never expend the capital, right? So once it's endowed, it just is there and generating good things and well into the future. So it's a great
How
story.
gratifying is the whole process? And I'm sure for the whole community foundation and all the funds that you manage, which are in the neighborhood of 200, if I'm not mistaken, Stuart. But how gratifying is it to see this growth and support of, in particular, the scholarship funding and the funding for students in Grey and Bruce?
It's terrific, and it's really defining us, and it's a great means of our engagement with people. We touch families in that way, and then we have acquaintanceship, right? And so this willpower conversation is a much more natural one when the student has access to an award, or they know what we do and they know what we're about. So it's a great community building effort for us as well. We actually designed a particular investment pool for scholarships as well. So I've come to this show and talked a little bit about how to start a fund. So the thresholds for starting a scholarship are a bit lower because we invest in a dividend pool, which is high equity, so it's a very steady yield because they're often a little bit smaller funds. So it's only $7,500 to begin to grant.
Okay.
And
whereas the others, is it 25?
the other one's 25,000.
Yeah,
so you can start with a more modest means with a scholarship. So that might be something that would encourage more people to consider it.
Right.
And again, we've talked about this before, but it doesn't have to be cash either. There's a lot of ways to give, and can be a RIF or a life insurance policy or appreciated securities. And sometimes those means of giving offer tax benefits, so that it can be very advantageous for someone to consider that.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
That's when we've had in other shows, when you're talking about who's the team. So you'd be part of that team. Maybe your financial advisor would be part of that team. Maybe that's your bank. Maybe that's your lawyer. So it does sometimes take a bit of a team to give you what's the benefit, and it can be a benefit for you. I don't think that's selfish. I think it's a way of fulfilling and giving to other people, and then you happen to maybe get a tax break with that as well, which is
we can all use it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
My last
That
question.
time of year.
We talked about students, and the image that you get is the people at OSTSS and St. Mary's and Saugeen District. What if, and it's not going to happen because the first time didn't go particularly well for me, but what about a mature student going back to school?
Please have a look at the website, because we have a couple of funds every year that are particularly for people at a different stage of life going back or returning to school or continuing. Lifelong learning, we call it, right? We never stop learning.
And I think that since COVID, that word since COVID, but people have decided to change or get further educated, change their careers and that. So there's always funds needed for that. So there is that opportunity.
Well, people live longer now too, and our generation is meant. We're the first generation that could. A lot of us are going to hit 100. So retirement age, you still got a third of your life left. You can go back to school and learn and flourish.
Before there were community foundations, my mother and I graduated the same year in 1982.
Wow.
Just because it took her a little longer to get courses and whatnot.
Good
Stuart,
for her.
We've got to go, but last thoughts, and where can people contact you?
They can contact us at our foundation office. I'll give the phone number, which is 519-371-7203. And please visit our website, communityfoundationgraybruce.com. And also willpower.ca is a great way to learn about the landscape of charities and across Grey Bruce that are participating in Willpower too.
Well, Stuart, thank you very, very much for joining Denise and I today. This is Living Well, Giving Well on Rogers Television. Coming up on our next edition, which will be episode number 26, we'll be joined by Jan Chamberlain, and she'll be talking about the Owen Sound Fund. Again, Habitat for Humanity, our featured video today. Think about supporting Habitat for Humanity in Grey and Bruce. Once again, we want to thank you for joining us today on Living Well, Giving Well with Rogers TV, Grey County.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
RTV Sports Wrap every Wednesday as myself, Spencer Byers, and our esteemed panel talk about everything you need to know going on in football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and soccer as we joust about what's going on in sports, keeping you up to date on Rogers TV.
Are you a passionate content creator ready to expand your audience reach? Do you have unique stories, captivating hobbies, or special interests that deserve a spotlight? Rogers TV is here to amplify your voice within the community. We offer you the platform to broadcast your content to a wider audience. And the best part, it's completely free. Don't miss this opportunity to share your vision and engage with viewers.